everybody, this is Tazlon for Drop Top Tees, and we are here today to do a 50,000 mile review of the 124 Spider. Itsy just went over 50,000 miles several weeks ago. One of the first things people who are looking into buying a car like this ask is, how reliable is it? A valid question. Especially if they're older, they remember the Fiats of the 60s and 70s and wonder if they've become any more mechanically sound than they used to be. If you're wondering, let me ask you this question. If you decided to buy a Mazda MX-5 ND instead of the 124 Spider, would you worry about how reliable it was? I mean, after all, Mazda, Japanese reliability, seems like a sure bet, right? Guess what? You can see on the door sticker right here, manufactured by Mazda Motor Corporation for FCA Italy SPA. If you look, and I'll show you, I'll put this up on the screen because I have it at home. If you look at the original manufacturer sticker, it will say this car is 75% Japanese, 25% Italian. This car was built on the very same assembly line as the MX-5 ND. So you get the best of both worlds. Japanese reliability, Italian flair for design, plus it has an Italian motor, Italian tuned suspension, and several other parts are Italian. What that means is you have all the reliability of a Japanese built car in a car tuned by Italians for sporty driving and designed by Italians to look nice. I like to tease the Mazda people and say, after 3 attempts at making the MX-5 look good, they finally punted the job to the Italians to make it look right. And as you can see, a 124 Spider looks good from literally any angle. There are a lot of design clues built in from the original 124 Spider because this is a 50-year celebration of the original 124 Spider. That's why you have the sculpting on the hood, why the lights come down into a V, why the grille is shaped the way it is, why this line on the side is curved the way it is, and why the tail lights are designed in the shape that they are. These are all homages to the original 124 Spider, which sold in the US from 1966 till 1985. For 20 years, it was one of the best-selling roadsters in the United States. Now, going briefly back to the reliability issue. If you're in the US, you go to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration site, NHTSA.gov, look up the recalls, investigations, and complaints on any model year of the Spider, 2017 to 2020, and then compare it to any similar model year for the MX-5 ND, and guess what you're going to discover? This car has had fewer recalls than the MX-5, it's had fewer customer complaints, and it has 0 investigations. As a matter of fact, with the exception of half the 2019 model year, there have been no recalls on this vehicle at all. It's proven extremely reliable. Are there some issues? Yes. Some people have trouble with the hood coming up and closing. It rubs right here. Fixable under warranty. I would imagine most of them on the market right now have already been fixed by the original owners. Some people have issues with the water pump where they have to replace it. We are now at 52,000 miles. We've had 0 issues. Not a thing. All we've done is routine maintenance. We've modded the heck out of it. A lot of engine mods. No issues whatsoever. So from my perspective, extremely reliable. Do not let the "fix it again Tony" stigma from the past influence your decision today. Are they fun to drive? Whether you're on the track or on a twisty road, these cars are a blast to drive. Vulture alert! If you're looking for an affordable, easy to maintain, fun to drive vehicle, especially a convertible, you cannot go wrong with the 124 Spider. You buy one of these, and the only problem you're going to have is trying to keep the permanent smile off your face. They're that much fun to have. These things are insanely fun to drive. One of the things you have to be ready for if you buy a 124 Spider, and I think almost every 124 owner out there will agree with this, is if you're an introvert, if you don't like talking to strangers, do not buy this car. Fiat, especially in the US, never advertised this vehicle. It is insane how many times people will come up to you and want to talk to you about the car. Be it in the parking lot of a store, at a red light in traffic, heck, driving down the interstate at 60 miles an hour. They'll roll down their window and yell at you, "What is that?" I mean, anywhere you go, people will ask you about the vehicle. Nobody knows what it is. Let me say this, a very few people know what it is. Sometimes you run across somebody who had one of the classics a long time ago, they know what it is. You run across somebody who's into MX-5s, they know what it is. Nobody else knows what it is. And they'll ask you about it. So if you don't like having to talk to total strangers about your car, where they just come up to you and talk to you, probably not a good choice, because it will happen to you. And not just once in a while. I mean, with us, it happens at least weekly. Frequently, multiple times a week, somebody will come up and ask us about the car. And they'll never guess Fiat. The most common thing we get is they think it's an Alfa Romeo, especially with the Italian stripes on it. They'll guess Alfa Romeo. We've had Jaguar, Aston Martin, Ferrari. I can't even think of all the different ones they'll guess. They'll always guess something other than a Fiat. And then they're surprised when they find out it's a Fiat. And then they ask you, did you import it? It's like, no, I bought it here in the United States when it was for sale. And then they'll guess how much it is. Most common range there is between $60,000 and $100,000. We'll take both ours to car shows, and people will ask us, well, your wife's a teacher and you're retired, how can you afford $200,000 cars? They're like, I don't know, I've never tried to. I mean, both of them together aren't $100,000. So it's just remarkable. They designed this so well, it looks like it's more expensive than it really is. And that's a bonus, because again, Japanese reliability, Italian performance, and yet affordable. If you have a completely stock car, they average between 33 and 38 on the highway. In the city, maybe 27 to 30. I have a bunch of mods on mine, performance mods, and on the highway, I'm still averaging around 32, even when I drive it fast. Now, when I go on the track, different story. So they're light on the pocket. The spring of the last year they were made, 2020. and I can't remember who it was either Edmunds or Kelly Blue Book, rated it the most affordable sports car to own over the next 5 years because of reliability, because of ease of maintenance, and because of the cost of driving it. So if you're thinking about driving the car, owning the car, take one out for a test drive. And I guarantee you're going to come back smiling, especially if you can drive it down a curvy road at all. You're going to come back smiling, and you're going to buy it, and you're going to keep smiling. As we say in the 124 ownership circle, a smile a minute whenever I'm in it. And that's the best thing I can say about it. This car is an absolute blast to drive. I've had this car on 2 different tracks. We've had it on Twisted Sisters, which is like a very extended version in Texas of Tail of the Dragon. Not as many turns in a short space, just more turns over a much longer road. And we live in Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So we've had a good mix of very sporty driving and city driving. It's been great for all of them. It's a blast to own. It won't kill your pocketbook. So why are you still watching? Go out and buy one. So if you like the video, thumbs up, hit subscribe, and we'll see you again in 25,000 miles for the 75,000 mile review. And you know what? I'm still gonna be smiling. I have that much faith in the car.